Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Ed Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And tonight, I could not make our normal 5:50 p.m. Pacific, 8:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Money Making Monday live stream. So you guys know what this means. It normally means we move to the late night Money Making Monday live stream. And the stock market bonanza continues. And by the way, I'm sorry I'm late. Could not be avoided. We have family issues and it's health. So, once again, make sure you take care of your health, eat right, sleep right, drink right, love right, and make it work. Calm, zen, and welcome because it's winning day again. Remember, when the stock market was going down, then all of a sudden there was boom. The bonanza started. What are you waiting for, ladies and gentlemen? If you have missed out on our previous videos, well, congratulations. You don't need to keep missing out. Please join us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evenings, live streams, because we talk about what can help you, investing strategies, particularly this stock market, and welcome to the SSN Nation Late Night Money Making Monday live stream. Stop struggling now, gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you so much for being in the house. And please share the videos because you never know who's out here looking for information. There's also people out here that do not know the information that I'm about to show you right now because there's a lot of people working their asses off, working hard. And what they don't know is it could be an endless work life. I'm going to illustrate right here real quick because the stock market bonanza means you need to be in the stock market. Why do you need to be in the stock market? Because the top 10% of the wealthiest own 93% of the stocks. That's the first problem. The second problem is right here, ladies and gentlemen. $1 million or more in retirement accounts, 401k, IRAs. Let me put this on screen. What do you think the number is percentage-wise for the United States? You think we live in the richest country in the world. You've been gaslit, ladies and gentlemen, because once you see this number, you can't unsee it. Some of you surely did not say 3.2% of all Americans, retirees. Only about 3.2% American retirees. You guys hear me on that podcast? And 4.7% of all U.S. households have 1 million or more in retirement specific accounts like 401k and IRAs. My, ladies and gentlemen. 3%, 4.7 of all U.S. households, less than 5%, and you want to give the rich guys tax cuts and tax breaks? Are you serious right now? This means 95% of American households do not have 1 million or more. Are you kidding me right now? Just saying. A breakdown of the numbers. Account specific millionaires. Roughly 497,000 Americans have achieved the 401k millionaire status, while another 399,000 have at least 1 million individual retirement accounts and IRAs. Ladies and gentlemen, that's less than a million people. Are you seeing these numbers? Scary. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Make sure you hit the like. Make sure you hit the checkbox. Make sure you hit the hearts. Whatever it takes. Make sure you let people know this is what you're dealing with right now. So when people say no big deal about inflation, somebody's got a plan. There is no plan because you just took away 3-4% of this money that people have is now going to the cost of inflation, plus your taxes have to rise and everything else you have that you consume has to rise. Energy bills, electric bills, insurance, property taxes, whatever the case may be, they're going to rise. Your vehicle registrations, your vehicle smogs, it does not matter. Your grocery store bills, they're all going to go up. So that money that you have is now worth less. Overall averages across all households, oh my, the median retirement nest egg is roughly 88,000. Are you getting this, ladies and gentlemen? Now you understand why you have to be in the stock market. Now you understand that some of you right now watching this may need findhelp.org. That's right. Go to findhelp.org. Go check it out. Let me know what you're thinking right now because that's where you can get some free help. That's right. Free help, ladies and gentlemen. And let it be known who's ever in the house tonight. Oh my, it looks like El Monte is here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Late Night Money Making Monday live stream. Very happy that you found us since I'm 2 hours late. Then some. So thank you so much for being here, El Monte. Once again, salute to you as well, sir. And let's get back into it because these numbers mean it's a dire situation out here. You thought you lived in the richest country in the world. You thought you were going to benefit from the trickle down, but unfortunately, you're not benefiting at all. You're about to get screwed. You live in a third world country. You just don't know it yet. Let's get down because you guys are going to have to invest in the stock market bonanza while the volatility is going on. You have to sit here and do the right thing. You can't sit on the sidelines. Some of you might be going, Eric, it's too late. It's never too late. You have to have a strategy about it. If you're going to make investments, it's volatile. So what you need to do is when you enter, you should enter when the stocks are a little bit lower. It's a bad day, a red day as they call it. Then make an investment. If it's going to go lower, yes, it probably will. We're going to hit a recession. We're kind of in one. But the point is, it's going to get worse. So that means stocks might all of a sudden plummet. But you still need to invest because the Federal Reserve, their only job on the planet is to make sure the wealthy have a stock market, their own little casino that keeps rising. That's their whole job. It's not trying to get you more jobs. It's not trying to increase your hourly wage. They're not trying to give you livable wages of any sort. They're just making sure those that make investments, which by the way, we're going to get into this a little bit more because you understand now, I hope. You think Stop Struggling Now is the moniker. This is what you have to do. You're going to have to crawl out, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to have to become business people as well. You're not going to be able to sit on the sideline forever and work for somebody else, especially if you're like one of the 47,000 Meta workers, aka Facebook workers, who's about to get fired. Okay? Let's get real. This is not going well right now, but the stock market bonanza is going to be here for life. And even if it has a bad time, even if it goes down, even if you buy something at, let's just say $100 a share, it goes down to 90, 95, you need to buy some at 90 or 95. If it goes down to 80, you believe in the company, then you need to buy when it goes down to 80. All right? Now, then when the market gets better, the Federal Reserve does what they do after 6 months or a year. Now you'll be happy that you bought at a lower price. So your dollar cost average will be down. Findhelp.org. That can get you a long way. A lot of you out there, 8 out of 10 people are living paycheck to paycheck during the month. So don't play with me. Everybody can play when you have credit. But remember, those people that live in third world countries oftentimes don't have credit. And if we didn't have credit in America, you would have more people starving in the streets. In fact, there would have already been riots. So let's get on with the numbers, because this is the reason why you have to make investments out here. You cannot go silently into the night. Even among older American, ages 65 to 74, the medium is much closer to 200,000, with an average hovering around 609,000. The baby boomers. Everybody right now, I don't know what generation it is, but the generation from 40, if you're 40 and under, you're the lost generation. Remember, I coined it here first. It's been known as a lost civilization, but you guys are in the lost civilization desert, because 40 years old is the oldest on record for being able to purchase your own home. Your livable wages at 20 years old is not a livable wage. There is no way. In order for you to be 20 years old and making $50 per hour, there's not too many businesses starting people at $50 an hour and up. Let's just get serious out here. You guys got to get real. They can't keep gaslighting you out here. All right? This is dire. The lost generation can't even afford rent because they're getting paid $15, $20, $25 an hour. And you got to earn 3x or 1/3. 1/3 is the rent. So if the rent is 2 G's, that means you have to make 6. That's 72 G's a year. Ladies and gentlemen, that's more than $20, $25 an hour. More than 30. Sorry. So now you're having the lost generation living with their parents, their family members, or other people with getting a room. This is like old school hippie community living. This is serious. Let's go. Broader wealth. If you expand the criteria beyond dedicated retirement accounts to total net worth, which includes real estate and other investments, about 18% of U.S. households are millionaires. That's it. 18%. With including real estate and investments. This doesn't look like a very good ending, does it, ladies and gentlemen? Can you imagine talking to your professors 30, 40 years ago and telling them, you know, this trickle-down theory stuff? Do you understand where this goes if this keeps up? You're cutting taxes for the wealthy. You're not going back to 1950, 1960. Tax codes for corporations and wealthy, which built the middle class, which is why America was the shiny place on the hill. And then you go into, oh no, they don't have to pay anymore, nor do the corporations. All of a sudden, you know what's happening, and here we are in the middle of it as we speak. So, this is no shocker to me. But like I said, I'm an old guy. And talking to my professors, telling them, you know we live in a third world country, but you don't know it yet. And they'd look at me like, we're the best country in the world. What are you talking about? We got the most money ever. I said, do we? You know what our deficit is? I contend you have to be real out here for yourself and understand you need to be in the stock market bonanza, because this is what they're using to make money. They're derivatives. What are stocks? They're a piece of paper. All right? That's a derivative. It's nothing. It's based on thin air. You say it's worth $200. You're saying the AMD stock is worth $250. But it's still a piece of paper. It's a stock. It's just the thing. So, but this is it. The corporation who has this stock for $250 and they have millions of shares available to them, they get to go down to a bank and use them as collateral because they're the hot companies. Nvidia, 220, whatever it is now. Same thing. What is it, a 5 trillion? What is it? I don't even know now. But they're over $1 trillion based on paper because you say you're buying a stock at this value. They're the wealthy, ladies and gentlemen. They get to win, but you get to win as well. That's why we have to talk about you need to be in the game. And by the way, do you know what? If the top 10% owns 93% of the stock market, what does the other 90% own? This is going to be an interesting quiz question. Do you guys know? Do you know what the other 90% own? You want to know? Look at this. The wealthiest 10% of Americans own like 90%. It's 93% of the stocks. The top 1% by themselves own 50. And look at this. While the poorest 50% of the population own about 1% of the stock market. So there's 94% of the stock market right there between the wealthiest 10% and the lowly 50% of the population owns 1%. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know what that's 170 that's over 175 million people only own 1%. That's half of your population. Half owns 1% of the stock market, which now you understand why they hold hardly any wealth at all. And now you understand why this number makes sense right here. Okay, now, do I have your attention? I hope so. Stock market, what you need to do if you still have not, which I can't believe somebody has not downloaded Robinhood, Webull, Moomoo, any other app that can help you. I'm not even talking trading, investing in stocks right now. All right, we'll get to the trading part, but see, like today, when Trump's announced we're not going to bomb Iran, you know what the good fellows with the stock market did? The stock went just like it expected. Manipulation. Started going up late night. Not late night, but late in the afternoon. So see, were you privy? Do you know how to make a trade where you could have done a buy so you could have taken advantage of this situation? That's what you need to start thinking about, ladies and gentlemen. You need to figure out how to take advantage of the situation. Sitting around here just going to your work, throwing it in a 401k, which you don't really get a benefit. Why don't you open up your own 401k and put the money in your own thing and make your own investments? And you don't have to give them 1% a year. Because bottom line is this. If you're lucky enough to work for somebody for 20 years, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to have 1% a year. Guess what? 20% of what you put into your 401k is gone. Just saying. I know it's not Friday night. That's when we're usually story night. But today I have to give you stories. Some of you have heard this before. The stories are things like this. Uh-oh, did I mess up? No, I did not. In the chat room, you guys might see Wealthfront. If you're not an investor of any sort, you don't want to put it in your own hands. Wealthfront will handle it for you. It's down below in the description box after the live stream, and it's in the chat room. So if you're watching this on replay, you hit the comment section, swipe left, I believe. It'll give you an option for listening to the live. Okay? That's simple. It's that simple. So I'm exasperated because I'm sitting here, and the thing is, we've been talking about this for like 7-8 months. That's the thing. When we said a year ago, when we said with Trump in office, you're going to have volatility in the stock market because he's going to do stupid shit, right? That's just how it is, all right? He's a trust fund kid, privileged, always being able to buck the system. He's able to do insider trading. So he's doing it right now. So that's why he's making these announcements. I'm not going to do nothing with Iran. Okay, well, somebody probably a few minutes, 5 minutes or less, made trades. And then all of a sudden when he did it, things popped up. If you knew how to stock market trade, you could have taken advantage of it. That's all it takes is just a nice big candle. That could do it. Or how about a nice big candle and it still goes up even further? Some of you may be going, Eric, what the hell are you talking about? It's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry at all. We're going to make sure you get on board because I'm going to give you the Candlestick Trading Bible. The link's going to be in the chat room. I want to welcome everybody here tonight. Make sure you guys smash the like buttons no matter where you're watching from, listening from, or here live. And if you're here live, come on in to the chat room. It's always open. That's right. We don't ban you unless you need to be banned, but that's generally just some spammer trying to get me to do some views or buy some views or something, which you can forget that. We're on the bad list, just so you know. No need to try and do something crazy. All right. So the first things first, we got you the findhelp.org that you need to go to, put in your zip code, and you'll have nonprofits that can help you with a myriad of things. So why not take advantage of an American citizens? You need some help out here, then use it. What the heck? Here's the thing that cracks me up. You guys will sit there and go, well, that's socialism. That's welfare. I'm not going to go down there and do anything. But yet, you don't say nothing when your taxes that you work your ass off for get sent up to these corporations as subsidies. You don't say nothing when they get tax cuts and tax breaks. What's wrong with you guys? That's welfare. They're using our tax money to give to some corporations and give tax cuts and tax breaks to the rich so they can actually make more money, but they're not giving tax cuts and tax breaks to us. See how this works? That's welfare. Let me ask you right now, you're starting a business. You go down and yes, they have government grants. Yes, they have all that. But would it be nice if you started a business and somebody goes, you know what? Every year, here's $100,000 for your business as a subsidy. Is that welfare or not? Interesting, right? It sure would go a long way. And oh, by the way, your tax-paying neighbors, you and others, would be paying for your $100,000, just like you're giving corporations millions. Oil, gas, energy, subsidies, tax money. And you want to give these guys tax cuts after you give them money. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. That's why the inequality of wealth is where it is. And that's why it started 50 years ago. Just so you know, this is not by accident. So let's go. Candlestick Trading Bible. You have it in your pockets right now. PDF you can download. You can study. You can go pay attention on your own. You can study videos. I'm not a stock market trading video kind of guy. But the point I'm trying to make is once you learn your own style, that could possibly help you out. So you got a two-prong attack. You can invest in the stock market. You can go with passive income with dividend investing. JEPQ is a JP Morgan fund, one of the biggest banks in the world. So therefore, they're too big to fail. So you will never be locked out of that account. But the point is, they have JEPQ, and it's around 10.5%. That's not bad, considering inflation is about that. But hey, at least you have something that can earn 10% or more every year. Now, if you want to go with off the reservation type stuff, because now they're going to increase, the Federal Reserve is going to increase the federal funds rate. Now you're going to have a little problem because I traditionally was like real estate investment trust. But see, that's not good because that means not because the Federal Reserve is increasing the rate, but it's because the bond rate is increasing. The 10-year rate is 4.5 or maybe more. It was 4.55 just last week. The 30-year is at 5%. That's a problem. That means there's going to be a screeching halt here soon because the feds are going to have to stop inflation because it's 3.8%. And guess what? It's too late. So next month, it should be even higher. It's too late. All right? They should have already been doing this when it was 3, if their goal is 2%, right? But it doesn't matter because the stock market bonanza is going to keep happening. It's going to yo-yo up and down. So either you say, I'm going to dollar cost average by investing the old fashioned way and saying, hey, I'm just going to buy stocks and let it sit and then buy some more. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But if you're doing what a lot more people are doing, individual trading, and by the way, just get it straight, 90 to 95% of first time stock traders are taking L's. They lose money. So that's why I say study first, get yourself with a broker. It doesn't cost you anything. Don't think it's costly. You get a broker, and then let me see. Let me see if I got this right. Yeah, there it goes. Okay, get a broker. You get a brokerage account, a broker for stock trading. Oh, and by the way, QQQI is a dividend stock that's pretty interesting. And it's courtesy of, I believe it was MDA0214. This is something that's unique. Some of the dividend you receive is long term, and some of the dividend you receive is short term or ordinary income. So therefore, that's very good because it's not 100% ordinary income, which means you owe taxes. So that would be great. QQQI. Go check it out, ladies and gentlemen. That has potential as well. And that was over, I believe, 13-14%. I did not grab any QQQI myself, just full disclosure, because I pretty much divested out of the stock market, except for AMD, NVIDIA, PSEC, which is a real estate investment trust, ORC, which is a real estate investment trust, and Bitcoin. That's what and Ethereum. So that's it. I downsized, had to park. We don't mind parking, right? We always love a duffel bag of cash as well. Plus, we have something new coming out. Not us coming, I shouldn't even say this because I've been giving teasers, but this teaser now has expanded into a whole nother thing because I am working with artificial intelligence. But that we'll talk about that shortly. All right, since it's late night, let's go. Make sure you guys smash the like button if you're listening. Let people know you're in the house. Now, the Candlestick Trading Bible, and we need a broker. So what do? We do CoinX. And CoinX, you might say why. And the reason why is because they're not in the United States, in the broke country. So therefore, since they're not regulated by the United States or in the United States, that means your brokerage account can't get jacked. Just saying. If you've never had your brokerage account jacked, then great for you. For those of us who have, you might appreciate why I don't want to have anything to do with the United States holding anything. All right. CoinX. Simply, they use crypto you upload and download it out. It's that simple. So, profits and winnings, you download your crypto to whatever location you want. That's good. But again, you should study if you're not familiar with stock market trading. It's high risk, high rewards. Normally, I say normally, because when there's a volatile situation under this administration where they're liable to do anything any day, the stock market reacts going up, like today. And then if all of a sudden they say, well, like what's going to happen later, it's going to go up, and then the Federal Reserve is going to make an announcement that they're going to increase the rate. The way the market's been doing recently, they're not shocked. Before, this would make the stock market go down. There would be a violent downward trend. I don't know if it'll be a violent downward trend, but I do know this. I will be waiting because that means sell is in order. I'm not doing options. I'm just straight NASDAQ, US 30. That's all you need to do. They kind of mirror each other depending on what happens. But the point is, why not take advantage? And you don't have to wait You can just put an alert out, right? Or just, when the Federal Reserve is going to do their day, you just wait for their announcement. And then you just see what happens. You don't even have to predetermine what's going to happen. You can just see while you're there in real time. You can see candles. You understand it after you study. And then you say, oh, this is where it's going. And then you collect a little bit of money. Whether it's whatever your threshold is. If it's $100, 200, 500, 1,000. But either way, you got to take profit. All right? They're messing up. Take advantage. All right? So the CoinEx, there's several reasons we do this, because just like when you start a business and you have intellectual properties or you want to protect something, then you do what the big boys do, right? You have a holding company, right? Simple. And then the business that's going to operate is going to be what they would call a subsidiary. So therefore, if somebody ever sues the operating company, your holding company has your assets up above. The holding company licenses or rents or leases. So then that's why the subsidiary sends money to the top. They're leasing, they're renting, or whatever. But the assets are up there, so if anything ever happens, you're not risking your whole empire. All right? This is big boy stuff, but nonetheless, that's what you do, ladies and gentlemen. All right? Just keep these things in mind. Just like you need a trust, an irrevocable one. You can have all kinds you want, but you got to make sure the irrevocable is kind of tough, because those are hard to undo. But whatever you put in there ain't coming out. Let's just, I just use that loosely, because our laws are optional for the rich guys. So you're going to be the rich guy too, so don't worry about it. Okay? So just remember what you're trying to do here. CoinEx, they're not inside the United States. So I'm going to give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about. They do crypto. So if you're in the United States, most people are on regulated. If you're in the EU, you're on regulated exchanges most of the time, unless you use your cold wallet or something. So here's what happens. Most people load up their money on a central exchange, otherwise known as a CEX. And that CEX, because it's regulated, sends signals to the government saying, oh, this guy uploaded 5Gs. He sent it to this address. Just to let you know. Goes up to CoinEx. Guess what? CoinEx isn't regulated by the United States. So they can see that it got sent to this transaction hash, fine. But when CoinEx sends it out, they're not on regulated exchange. They're not telling anybody, nothing. So now, that other wallet that you have, that's not on the central exchange, that nobody really knows about, that's where it goes. Okay? Or, in some of our cases, we don't send it to an exchange at all. We send it to an endpoint. Here's the endpoint. Right here. Bankus Crypto MasterCard and Visas. Plastic, like what I have with the NFC, with the tap feature, and metal with no tap feature, but people like to hear it clang clang. Send it there as an endpoint. It's not an exchange. You lose 4% though. You know why you lose 4%? Because the company keeps 3% to operate. 1% goes to who you referred, or who I referred, and then I receive commission. So they do have a referral program where you can make money for when the person buys the card and when the people load the card. So you lose 4%, which is the only hefty fee, because the beauty of this is if you have family around the world, college kids, whatever, if they have an account, you can send money directly to them through the back office of Bankus with no fees after you paid the 4%. And now they can go to the ATM machine, go pay for books, go help buy groceries, whatever the case may be, within less than a minute. So now you have your own internal systems that you can actually do with family, friends. If somebody lives overseas, they need the Bankus card too if you're sending them money. Although, like I say, the 4% thing is the only thing that's kind of, that one I don't like. Because whenever you load, it's 4%. So that's a hefty fee. But, well, at least it gets there within less than a minute. And you can help people. And everybody has a digital card, by the way. So even if I don't want to use this card, you can use a digital card online. Actually, once they hook to the Google Play Store, then the virtual card is probably your best bet because you can turn the virtual card off. You can block it. And the CVV code changes every 5 minutes. So they have built-in security features for your card. For the card itself, you have built-in security features. So that's cool, the physical card. The digital card is on your Bankus app account, and it works similarly the same way. The CVV changes every 5 minutes as well. So there you go. Where to get the Bankus card? Here you go. First things first, I'm going to give you the link. Everybody, please use the link because obviously it's tied to SSN Nation, to myself. And so the other thing is Tuesdays and Thursdays, they have 2 live streams via Zoom. So that's what you need to do. Here's the Zoom call info. Thank you for asking, El Monte. Here's the Zoom call info, and there's the link. So make use of it, ladies and gentlemen. I just gave you guys a perfect example of why you want to protect yourself. Remember, there's only one guy on this YouTube universe that started saying 2 years and 7 months ago, this is what you need to do. Get your credit score at 775. Listen to this. I'll give you the date in a second. 2 years, 7 months ago, we started a 3-year countdown. It's now 7 months to go. Get your credit score at 775. That was one of the tenets. Get a business or real estate outside of the United States. That's 2. Number 3, bank account outside of the jurisdiction of the United States. So that takes away any U.S. territories. Another country. Get a bank account. Those are the 3 things that I said 2 years and 7 months ago, December 31st, 2026. That was the deadline. Why was that the deadline? How did we know 2 years, 7 months ago? Interesting. The other thing, don't worry because the runway is always a little longer with me. I just had the 3-year cutoff, but in reality, it's about another 6 to 8 months after that. But the point is, if you're ready, you'll be ready. And make the investments in the stock market with the bonanza as we said it would be under this administration. There's no way around it. And it's going to keep rising. So don't worry. Get in while you can fit in and make some money and do the salsa dance. That's what you need to do, ladies and gentlemen. So if you go by those tenets, you might be asking yourself right now, Eric, why did you say this other stuff about the 775 credit score? Well, I put it in the chat room right now. Bankus all over the place. You guys have it. Twitch, Facebook, Instagrams, SSN Nation, podcasts all over iHeart. If you guys have access to the websites, There you go, El Monte 1812. Thank you so much, man. No problem. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Now, why would we say such things? Because when SHIT hits the fan, then you never know what your country's going to do. Because let's just go back in history almost 100 years ago when the Great Depression popped up. The banks closed. People are banging on the doors, can't get any money. And unfortunately, back then, they didn't have ATM cards. And even if they would have had an ATM card, it would have been turned off. So that's the point. Don't leave yourself vulnerable to a country that has already done this to its citizens before. That means they're not above reproach. It could happen again. And we are nearly close to the same events that led to that. Great Depression. Just so you know, read your history books. So, here's the thing. If your bank account's shut off, then what? We already have 8 out of 10 people living paycheck to paycheck during the month. So you can imagine it's catastrophic if you can't get to your funds, right? So that's why you need funds outside the United States. That should explain that. Now, the 775 credit score, why do we care about that score number? The reason why is because we are at all-time record highs for credit card debt and rising. Of course, people are living paycheck to paycheck, so they're using cards. Makes sense, right? Okay. So, as more people default, just like automobile defaults, credit card defaults, then credit card companies are going to have to find people who pay on time. And they're going to give those people that pay on time perks, such as right now. You can get 0% interest for 9 months, 0% interest for a year, 0% interest for 17 or 15 payments, or 18 months, 15 months, 21 months. You can even find 24 months, which you should be taking anything in the 20s. 0%, that's what you should be doing. Transfer that 20-something percent, that 30-something percent, that 17%, it should be at 0. And 0 annual fee, by the way, too, okay? Now, in 3 to 4 months, my prediction, 0% for 3 years. 36 months should show up on the scene sometime. August, September is what I'm thinking. If it happens later, so be it. But the fact of the matter is, I think it has to show up. Because they're going to start gravitating to the people that pay, and they're going to make sure, because it's better to have money always coming in than to have defaults. And then having to go back to, hey, collection company, how much will you give me for this account? And of course, they're just going to use it to write off, but they can only write off so much. Just saying. All right. So that's one of the reasons of the 775 credit score. If you need some help with credit, okay, no problem. That's why we discuss smart credit monitoring system. And of course, I have a link. We have the Stop Struggling link. All right. So what we want you to do is, where's it at? Right here. It's in the chat rooms, ladies and gentlemen. They have the hiring index score. They have the 3 credit bureaus. They have in letters that you can send to your creditors to try and get things. Let's say you miss a payment and you try to make deals, right? Let's say there's something wrong on your credit with that entity, then you can contact them and say what's wrong. They have built-in letters. They have tracking for your banking and finances as well, which goes a long way. That's helpful. Also, anybody that's in your same household that has the same address on their credit report, you guys are covered under identity fraud. In case somebody jacks your identity and charges things up to $1 million. That's part of it as well. So that's why. And it also tells you something more important is this is the best time to make a payment on your account if it's a credit card or revolving account, the best time to make the payment during the month. It's not on your due date. Just hint, hint. All right. But they calculate that. And they have special deals sometimes. $1, $5 for 2, 3 months so you can check it out. Just saying. They always change the link, but you guys know you're going to have something sweet, right? So go check out Smart Credits in the chat room now. It's going to be down below in the description box after this live stream. So those are the tenets right there to get you straight. You want to get real estate outside the United States? Some of you are going, Eric, I don't have money. 8 out of 10 of us are busting. We're busting our ass. We can't make it work. Okay, fine. That's why you have to start reducing your debt ASAP. That's the only way it's going to work. All right? Either you have to reduce your debt or you have to make more money. Take your pick. Either way, you're going to have to do both. All right? Now, outside the United States, inside, well, not mostly inside, but outside the United States, they have pre-construction projects. No credit check, no qualifying, no barriers to entry. You just do have to put down money, though. Sometimes it's 10%, sometimes it's 20%, but oftentimes it's 10%. Sometimes you might have the Dubai deal. And I'm not recommending Dubai, obviously. It's halfway around the world. You're not going to go there. Really? You want to take a 10-hour trip, 12-hour trip, 14-hour trip? Come on. All right. Nonetheless, there's people that will do that. But here's the thing. No credit check, no qualifying, no barriers to entry goes a long way. And in Dubai, they had to pay us 1% a month. And don't get me wrong, that even got my attention. I was like, what? What? Something costs $150,000 and you're going to pay $1,500 a month? No money down? See? All right. You too can get property, ladies and gentlemen, if you have disposable income outside the United States. Now, in the ultimate scheme of things, at the end of the 24 or 34 or 36 month contract, you may still owe 40 or 30%. Well, in 3 years, I'm hoping your credit score and you get things in order, so then you will be able to get a mortgage, right? But considering you put down 30 or 40%, that's a hefty down payment. So you need to find out what the loans and type of loans you would need for that country that you want to invest in. And this is worldwide. I don't know of no credit, no credit check, no qualifying, no barriers to entry for buying property in the U.S. But hey, there may be something. But all these places, it doesn't matter. The Philippines, Vietnam, Thailand, doesn't matter. The Caribbean, it's all over the place. South America, Central America, Mexico, it's all over. Every place you want to be that you go on vacation. Let's just put it that way. All right. So smart credit is in order to get your credit straight. All right. Now, if you need some help beyond that, it's not going to be much, but I'll do something. I'll just add something else in the chat room for you. All right. Where's this at? Okay. I'll add something else. I'm not going to be on here too much longer, ladies and gentlemen. This is, where's it at? There we go. Come on. I'm going to add, okay, we got National Credit Direct, which again, that could help people. It's just so you can get some credit on your credit profile so it shows on-time payments, but you have to buy something, unfortunately. It's going to be pricey. Let's just call it what it is. It's going to be pricey. It's not cheap. So that's one of the things. And then, of course, there's other ways you can get revolving credit. You can go with strong credit strong. They have some things going on as well. Get a debit card after you make monthly payments so you can spring up from there. There's different things that you can do. All right, self lender at a time. Here, let me give you those guys, I guess, too. I mean, that could help you out. So go over there if you need to improve your credit score. All right, hopefully that helps. All right, now let's get into something else because the stock market bonanza is booming and therefore you need to partake in this. You can already see the numbers are dire. If you don't get in this, the inequality gap is just going to be bigger and bigger and bigger. You have to hold some assets. All right? Assets. This thing about just working at a job, not holding any assets whatsoever, the corporation does, they fire you and you're out on the street on your own. They're not helping you find housing. They're not helping you find groceries. They're not helping for childcare. Let's get real out here. You have to start thinking that about protection. All right? That's why you're going to need assets. And assets are things that pay you. An asset is not a house. Just so you understand, the only reason it turned into a house is because in the 1980s, Reagan did the trickle-down theory, and he started doing this manipulation by cutting rates. So therefore, home prices started escalating. And then it's carried on throughout our time since then. So at one time, homes only increased in price 1% to 3% max. 1 or 2% was the norm. But in the 80s, the savings and loan crisis happened at the end of the 80s. I wonder why. So, seem familiar? Just like the banking crisis in 2007, 8, 9. Sound familiar? Guess what? It may come again. So you're going to have opportunities every time they mess up, but they don't come but every like 20 years. Guess what? 2027 is coming up next. We just did another trickle down theory tax cut, tax break. Seems like it's all aligning properly. So be prepared if you want to jump in on a house, but remember this. You need to go check out how much the property taxes are. That's the first thing you need to look at. Second thing you need to look at is how much the HOA is. Third thing you need to call up the insurance company to make sure you can even insure the house. Because these insurance companies are getting kind of hungry because they have people defaulting and not wanting to pay. So therefore, they're selecting who they want to have as customers. So you better make sure that you can even insure your house if you think it's necessary, but it's necessary. And insurance prices go up every year. Property taxes go up every year. Water, sewer, and garbage goes up every year. HOA is going up every year if you have one. So just keep all that in mind while you're out here buying liabilities. Assets pay you while you're sleeping. All right? Your house does not pay you while you're sleeping unless you have renters. That's a whole different ball game. Now, that's an asset when you own real estate and somebody's renting it out. That's an asset because you're getting checks. Big difference. All right. Hopefully, you guys take advantage of this stock market bonanza because it's going to continue. So we already dropped the Candlestick Trading Bible. We already dropped the CoinEx broker. Some people don't get me wrong, I like Trading View. I love their software. They have tons of brokers. And oh, by the way, for all you guys who thinking about stock trading, they have demo accounts on every broker's platform. Okay? So you can practice. You don't have to jump in with real money. You just sign up at the broker, then go find the demo account, and then start practicing if you're new to it, right? So that's one of the keys right there. But you don't have to worry about it. And I lost my train of thought for a second. I did lose my train of thought, not for a second. What I was going to talk about, I do love TradingView, is what I was saying, but that's not where I wanted to go. But they have tools like no other, all right? And they have brokers. So use the demo account to study using the Candlestick Trading Bible as your guide if you're new. You got to study. And then you go on YouTube or other social media platforms, Instagram, there's always somebody talking about stock trading, stock markets, showing how they do it. But how they do it may not be what works for you. You need to figure out what's going to work for you to make you successful. Everybody's different from information gathering to what they think and see. That's what made America great, when you had a lot of different mindsets from people from all over the world here. That's why America was able to do certain things in a certain time frame. Now we're almost like we're kind of like behind, because all it takes really is anybody in the world to come up with a new AI module that doesn't cost you data centers, and it's game over. And you best believe it's going to happen. We just don't know when. It could be next year. It could be at the end of this year. It could be 2 years from now. But when that bottom drops off, remember how when people used to say, I want 2 terabytes, and they'd be like, oh yeah, that's $700, $800. Yeah, now they have 2 terabytes on a freaking thumb drive for $100, $50. I mean, this is ludicrous. I mean, it's less than that, I think. But the point is, that's where this goes. As soon as somebody breaks the code where they don't need the data centers and they don't need all this power and all this stuff, having to spend billions of dollars or hundreds of millions, it's game over. All right? So just keep that in mind as we go through life. All right, I'm going to get out of here. If anybody has anything that they want to say, please say so now. This is short and sweet, but it has to be. As you guys know, I'm going to leave you with this. SSN Lifestyle will be back in 3 weeks. And also the new designed Stop Struggling Now websites and SSN Lifestyle websites are going to be back. SSN Lifestyle, due to the business structure that is going on with some things we want to do, it's actually going to turn into the lifestyle as a membership. And now it's going to turn into also house, just say it, a TV show reward system. So there's going to be a show that's going to come out in first quarter 2026. That's the scheduled date right now. It's not in stone, but it's going to be first quarter. And if everything goes according to the timeline, it should be the first week in January, quite frankly. Or I'll put it this way, the week after the CES show in Las Vegas. Okay, so hopefully that narrows it down a little bit. It'll be the first Monday or the second Monday. Either way, after the CES show. But the point is, there's going to be a Founders Club for the show. And I'll get into that another time. But SSN Lifestyle is going to be hosting the loyalty program. So you guys are the only ones, and anybody that watches our streams, you guys are going to be the only ones that know about it as right now. And you guys are going to be the only ones that's going to have a runway of about at least 2 to 3 months before other people find out. Because, as you know, the originators, we got to show some love to the family here in the SSN Nation. Just so you understand, there are tiers. So if, this is regarding a music competition show. It's not out right now. Okay? The music competition show, just so you guys understand, has loyalty tier levels. And at the top of the tier are Founders Elite levels. Okay? The Founders, that's going to be, there's 15 spots for the Founders. That is there's 2 Founder levels. The 15 spots, that's a whole different ball game. That's the top dogs. They get like a annual vacation, not vacation, but a place to stay in tropical zones every year. That's so you know it's going to be pricey. They have other special perks like at the opening ceremony of the TV show, live, by the way. They're going to be there. They also have their own special seating up close. They also don't have to stand in lines. They have their card. Not that it's this card, I'll just show you. Banker's card. They have the card, and it has an NFC tap feature. So the founders, they walk up to the venue for the live show. They have their own special seating. Guess what? They get the tap. They pass through. They don't stand in line. Also, backstage, well, I shouldn't say backstage, but they're going to have access to the control rooms, access to some of the artists. All kind of things are going to happen. But that card, their little black card that they're going to have, this gets you through the gate. And only founders can have it. Not everybody's going to have access, but that's going to be some of the perks right there. And you know how sometimes you're watching these music shows, these competition shows, and you're going, how did they vote these guys off? How did they vote these guys off? What the heck's going on? This is weird. Yeah. Well, guess what? If you're a founder, guess what happens? If the group of founders, they override. They're saying, oh, so you got rid of that guy? We don't think so. They get to implement reinstatement. It's sick. It's sick. It's something different. I can't go into it because it's going to be one of those trademark, patent pending type of situations. All right? Nobody's doing this at all. So you guys are going to have an opportunity to be in the Founders Club first. Yeah, it's pricey. There's two tiers. I'll just tell you what it is right now. 2,500 and $5,000. $5,000 is the ultimate. That's the sovereign level. Let's just call it what it is. And the normal founders, which you're not going to be in that 15. The 15 is the top dogs. And they're the ones that get to they get all kind of extra perks too, on top of what the founders get. The founders are $2,500. And by the way, it's a year. Just saying. It's every year. Oh, yeah, there's other perks too. I shouldn't even. I got to say this one. This one is that the founders is actually like a club too. It's a club within a club. They have their own stuff. We talk investing. We talk other stuff. Oh, yeah, it's going to be sick. It's big boy stuff. I've come out of retirement, ladies and gentlemen, just so you guys understand. So, yeah, the SSN Lifestyle is going to be the loyalty um, brand for this live TV show company. Just so you guys know. That's right. That's right. You heard. So you know we're going to have perks. All right, let's go. So stay tuned. 2026 is going to be one hell of a ride, but 2027 is going to be takedown. It's going to be takedown. That's all I can say. I had a 2024 was takeover, right? The guys in the DR didn't take too kindly to my takeover talk. So they were talking a lot of smack, blocking a lot of stuff. Stuff didn't happen, but it's fine. But the honest truth is, even though they were trying to block and doing all that, it's only because the funding. My boys did not want to, well, they didn't want it. They just couldn't come through because they did some other silly, it's not really silly, I guess. They bought some other stuff. And so they were leveraged because the other stuff they had to pay to rehab. Big mistake, I feel. So therefore, the rehab cost was unknown at the time. So they were like, nah, we don't want to leverage this because we don't know. And it's a big place too. It's like a 5-star, 3, 4, 500 units. And they needed rehab on the water. I mean, it's a sweet ass property. Banquet rooms, restaurants. It's sweet. So I couldn't blame them. But that meant we couldn't do the takeover, which would have been crazy. So I'm coming out of retirement. That was just for fun. This right here is a vendetta. And it's not because it's bad. It's just because the industries, they're effed up. They F over people. And I'm about to change the rules and help people. That's what we do here at Stop Struggling Now, just so you know. We're not out here trying. That's why we have no courses. All right? We don't have courses out here. All right. I guess that's it. Nobody has anything they want to add to the comment sections? Then I'm going to roll out. So just make sure I see you on Wednesday night. I don't know if I'm going to be late or not, but I do know this. The family members always have to come first when they have a little crisis. So unfortunately, that means sometimes I'm going to be late, especially right now for the last 7-8 months. That's why I've been late occasionally on the live streams and a lot. But hopefully you guys will forgive me. I love you guys very much, and I appreciate your support over all these years. Just make sure you please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here, and that's why you got to get the assets. And if you're younger and more listening to this, you get assets first. Don't F around. All right? The window's getting tighter and tighter that you got to spiral through for the rest of your life. So again, I'm going to say this and I'm going to say it again. FHA, duplex, triplex, fourplex. If you can get a fourplex with your FHA loan, you need to get it. That means you have commercial property from the get-go. That means other people pay your rent from the get-go. So therefore, the rest of your life, you're holding on to that thing, you're rehabbing it, make sure people pay you. Top dollar, you keep it in good shape, you can borrow against it to buy some more property or buy your own other place. But at least you have a place that's giving you passive income for the rest of your life. And the best part, since there's inflation, that means your rent prices will go up. Right? So we have a duplex. In let's call it 2010, 11, $950 a month for a 2-bedroom, 2.5-bath duplex. You know how much we charge today? $2,495. And it's been rising ever since, though. As soon as it got up to 2015, it was $1,050. As soon as it got up to 2017, it was $1,150. Then as it got up to 2020, $1,900. Come on. Get with the program. We're trying to give you the playbook. That's how you build the wealth early while you're younger, not when you're older. So that way you have passive income always coming in for life. Unless you sell it, of course. And then you have more passive income coming in because you're holding passive income instruments such as stock market. Right? That's one. Or are you holding intellectual properties that give you royalties or give you some rights that pays you? That's another opportunity, right? Let's go. I'm going to end this. So with all that said, make sure you stay safe out here. Stay even keeled, because you never know what somebody else is going through. This is a rough, cold world. And so they may be acting a different way, but you don't need to compound the problem. De-escalate, back up, leave. That's how you do it. All right? So no matter what else goes on, stay safe. And your loved ones and family, make sure they're safe as well. And above all else, while you're out here, keep your head up. Keep moving. And I'm out.